Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you why Zeke Elliott is about to save Christmas for the Cowboys.
And I'm Colin Cowherd, and I'll tell you why Bill Belichick just got a big lump of coal from Tom Brady. Speak for yourself starts now. Listen, you know I love the Patriots. Something's not right here. There's a weird vibe here.
I agree with you. I think I'm finally on board. All right, hello and welcome. We're joined today by Super Bowl champ Seth Joyner and former Pro Bowler TJ Houshmandzadeh. Let's start in New England, where the details are coming out about Bill Belichick's decision to drastically reduce team access for Tom Brady's longtime fitness guru, Alex Guerrero. Reportedly, Guerrero told the Patriot players that he worked with to listen to him instead of the team's training staff, and badmouthed Bill Belichick after the coach confronted him. Here's Brady when asked about the reported ban of his personal trainer and friend.
How did you react when Bill told you that he was going to do that?
I don't really agree with your question, so I don't know what you're talking about. How do you know what he said?
So are you saying a report that the access was...
I'm not saying anything. I mean, how do you say that he said anything? You don't know anything about that.
Bill never told you that he was removing Alex from the sideline or from the team lights?
Well, I have a lot of conversations with him, so those are private between he and I don't think anyone knows what we talk about. Certainly, I've never talked about it, and he's never talked about it.
There was a story in the Globe earlier this week, and they had reported that some of Alex Guerrero's access to the team had been restricted. Has that in any way impacted how you and Tom have worked together?
Yeah, this is another with no sources, right? Yep. No, I'm not going to get into that. Yeah. Yeah, because they're not mentioned.
All right, Cowherd, will this controversy impact the Patriots this season?
Well, Belichick and Brady are already in unison, calling it fake news. So we know they've talked about it and they have a game plan.
I think they called it no comment news, but go ahead.
I think what New England does really uniquely well is they compartmentalize stuff. And then, here's the game, and then here's Spygate. Here's the game, and here's Deflategate. This is unique, though, because it's more internal. It's not the league against New England. It's not rivals pointing fingers. It's this internal thing. But it feels like with Brady and Belichick, their answers are the exact same, which is, I don't know what you're talking about. So that feels like, classic Bill and Tom, they're in unison. So they've already sat down, discussed it. How are we going to deliver it to the media? It's fake news. It's very Trumpian.
I don't think they had to sit down. I think the culture has been built there that they've been programmed. This is the way we respond when these type questions get asked. I don't think they're calling it fake news. I think they're calling it news that they're not going to address. We're not talking about it. We're on to the Buffalo Bills. Will it impact them this season? I think you could put together a case that it already has. If you go look at the stories that are being written, they tried to arrange a meeting the week of the Miami Dolphins game, right before the Dolphins game, a meeting between Guerrero, Belichick, Brady, Robert Kraft being the arbiter. Couldn't make it happen. And lo and behold, the Patriots have their worst performance of the year down in Miami. Anytime there's a rift between the coach and the the quarterback and the head coach, and we've seen Brady perhaps take out some of his frustration on Josh McDaniels because he knows he can't do it to Bill Belichick. Do I think it will have an impact on this season? I think it already has. Does that mean I don't think that they're not going to win the Super Bowl? That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying Brady and Belichick are not working in unison the way they have in previous years.
That feels right to me.
For me, it's more so Brady believes in Alex.
You know Alex.
I know him personally. I've been knowing him since I was a teenager, over 20 years. And Tom Brady believes in what he does. The players on that team, they believe in everything that he tells them because they work on him, he works on them, and they feel better afterwards. For the most part, NFL training rooms, ice and stem. Ice and stem. Go get in the cold tub. That's what they do. Alex is different. He's going to diagnose you, and he's going to see what's wrong. He's going to work with you for a couple hours. And training staffs, too many players, they don't have the time to do all of that. And so
There's a belief system. You believe with Alex, the players buy it.
100%, because if in your mind you feel like what he's doing works, it works.
Get you more money, get you more
I know
years.
you never played for Belichick, but just imagine you're Belichick and the trainer that everyone trusts or half your team trusts is bad-mouthing Belichick. That's a problem.
I don't know whether that's true or not, but in my opinion, for Bill Belichick to give Alex that access, I'm sure Bill Belichick has had work done on him by Alex. And so
Old guys get bad backs. I can attest to that.
He knows what Alex does is legit. Alex would be out here working on different players. And Willie McGinnis brought Alex Guerrero to the NFL and to the Patriots. And he started working with Tom, and the rest is history. Alex knows what he's doing. Tom Brady believes
Why
in him.
wouldn't they just hire him then full time? Why wouldn't they make him the guy?
Because he's Tom's guy is the reason why. And listen, you have a strength and conditioning department, and you got a training staff, and those guys are getting paid. And when you have some guy that comes in from outside the organization that has more credibility with the players than the strength and conditioning and the training staff, that's problematic. So I guarantee you what happened was they went to Bill. Hey, these guys, because if you look at how this thing is trending, sooner or later it's going to get to a point where Alex Guerrero is going to be the strength and conditioning coach and the trainers for this team, and the Patriots are going to fire those two staffs and have him bring his own people in.
But see,
this has all been about
Brady,
self-preservation with those two groups.
Brady wants that exclusivity. He wants that personal time with Alex. So Alex, he doesn't want to be the trainer. He wants to just work with Brady and select guys. He can't give Brady all that time if the Patriots hire him.
But TJ, the training staff and the strength and conditioning coaches, they're not looking at it that way. They see more and more guys going to this guy.
Belichick looking at it?
Well, Belichick is looking at it like, this is problematic for us internally because we got this strife. There's a part of this team from a strength and conditioning and training staff that's a part of what we do, and then we got Tom's guru, and he's causing us problems. We don't need no problems. We need things to go smooth. We're in the playoffs.
You see an impact? Do you think there will be an impact on this season? Will this rift, be any problem on the field?
No, because every time that the Patriots have had some issues, what do? They find a way to overcome it. And I don't think this is going to be any different. I think one of the reasons why you just saw Bill Belichick and Tom Brady take the stance that they took is because they're trying to whitewash the whole thing, make it go away so they can get the media and everybody else focused on what's most important, and that's football.
Let's go to your point yesterday or pretty much all this week. What do you think about the relationship between Belichick and Brady beyond this season? Do you think there's a rift here that could linger and cause these two to split up prematurely?
Yeah, I think I believe strongly that Belichick and Bob Kraft chose Brady over Belichick because Belichick wanted to move off Brady. He had Garoppolo. And John Lynch told me yesterday that New England told them when they got Garoppolo, he's amazing. And Albert Breer, a guy I trust, told me 2 days ago that New England was like, yeah, this is what we told you he would do. Belichick was moving off Tom. Listen, you get 5-6 Super Bowls, you got what you... And just like the Niners did with Montana and Manning and Favre, and they had their Aaron Rodgers, they had their Steve Young, they had their Andrew Luck, and then Bob Kraft says, no, I'm siding with the player, and Belichick's like, okay, I'm moving Garoppolo out of town for nothing, I'm moving Brissett out of town, and by the way, Tommy, this relationship, it's not working either. I think Kraft and Belichick are at odds.
The reason why I buy your theory, the part you're leaving out, remember how the Patriots acted out of character all offseason in terms of they went into win now mode and started bringing Brandon Cooks and blah, blah. And we started saying, well, hold on, this isn't how Bill operates. And so perhaps Bill Belichick is the guy that is about to bounce. Maybe this is his last year.
I think listen, there's just stuff going on in the last year that is so non-Belichick.
That's a good theory. I hadn't heard that one. That was pretty good, actually. that really.
So you learn stuff on this show,
As
TJ.
you said that, I'm thinking, and I thinking about that makes a lot of sense. That really does make
Bob
a lot
Kraft
of sense that it was a power struggle. And
Listen, this is the way Shaq, Kobe, you guys, you can't have American icons work together for 15 years, and at the end, some guys want to take credit.
And what Seth said earlier to me is a big point, is the credibility that the players have with Alex, the trust that they have in Alex is the reason this is a problem.
Right.
It's because they don't want to go to the trainers. Everybody wants to see Alex. And it's the Bradys, the Gronkowski, the starters.
And by the way,
those are the guys Alex is working with.
And the more they want to go to Alex, the less control Belichick has, and he's already lost control of this team because Kraft wouldn't let him trade Brady.
I just got a bone to pick, Colin. I just, this whole theory that, that Robert Kraft sided with Tom Brady, and because he sided with Tom Brady, okay, I'm giving these other quarterbacks away. That to me, that makes no sense whatsoever. I look at it from the most practical standpoints. They had to move these two quarterbacks while they could move them and get something for him. Jimmy G, his contract is up. Okay, what are you going?
Second round pick.
They knew
Listen,
that a year
they spent
ago.
a second round pick on him.
But he's clearly more valuable
Oh my
than
God!
a second
In
round
today's
pick. They knew
marketplace,
it.
he's worth 4 picks.
Nobody knew
Cleveland would have given him a first-round pick.
Nobody knew that Tom Brady was going to be Tom Brady. He was a 6th-round pick. There are so many guys that get picked later on. They gave a 2nd-round pick for a guy that they spent a 2nd-round pick on, so they got value. We're trying to make it seem like Jimmy Garoppolo's going to win 8 Super Bowls and supersede everybody. He ain't done nothing
if
yet.
you bought a car-
He beat 3 teams that are marginal. That's all he's done.
If you bought a car on the market and you paid $1,000, and then 3 years later you knew on the market it was worth $20, and you only got what you paid for it, you got taken. Jimmy Garoppolo was understood throughout the league as a steal.
Anytime we buy a new car, we get taken. The minute you drive it off the lot, Colin.
You can't see Josh McDaniels being the coach of the Patriots next year, sliding right in there.
You know what? I always believed that Tom Brady and Belichick would walk away in lockstep.
I don't think so anymore.
Listen, I think the Steelers are the only other team that has more Super Bowl wins than New England by 1 Super Bowl. Okay, if they continue to have what's in place for them to win the Super Bowl, it would be utter
and what's
absurdity.
Being displaced is the culture that Belichick set up, where he's at the top of the food chain. There is no outside influence. Alex Guerrero is an outside influence that's clearly bothering Belichick. It undermines the whole thing that no one's bigger than the system and the culture and Belichick.
Alex has been there for years.
Yes,
he's been there
Alex
for years.
has been there for years.
He's been there for
It
years.
didn't bother him when he was there doing what he was doing.
Because for years, Kraft didn't tell Belichick how to run his team. Within the last year, Kraft, this has been reported, told him, you can't trade Tommy. That was the beginning of the end of this troika.
But also, Colin, I just think Alex Guerrero's influence has gotten larger and larger and larger. He was just working with Tommy. Now they're talking about it's half the damn roster.
Well, it wasn't just Tom. He was working with Tom. He was working with Wes Welker. He was working with Elliman.
Guys,
He was working with all those guys.
successful men have one thing in common: ego. Alex, Tom, Kraft, Belichick. Are we shocked that at the end of their run, egos are clashing? This is the way mobs work, companies work, teams work.
If they had a problem shining a light on Alex, they just made it that much bigger because they're making him. Listen, we got TJ on the show today. Didn't even know that he knew him. Okay, he vouching for him.
You're the best reporter we've had at this network in a year.
Listen, he got his friends texting him, talking about, hey, Alex is the truth.
I'm gonna go look up Alex.
Everybody.
Program.
Dallas, where the Cowboys host the Seahawks Sunday, with both teams fighting for their playoff lives. Seattle's trying to get back on track after 2 ugly losses, some embarrassing behavior. Dallas, the healthiest they've been in months. They finally get Ezekiel Elliott back this week. That's a thing. Both teams are on the outside looking in right now. Both have a chance. Whoever loses this weekend, Dallas, Seattle, out. Whitlock, to you, who's a more dangerous and realistic playoff contender, Seattle or Dallas?
Cowboys. Look, Seattle's too beat up.
And they're not unified.
Yeah, they're too beat up. And look, They just got clown suited last week in embarrassing fashion. That told the story. Dallas, with Zeke coming back, I think they're going to run the ball this week. And, yeah, they got a real shot. I would not want to see the Cowboys if I'm in the playoffs.
Listen, one thing that's underrated in the NFL, and nobody talks about it, which is remarkable considering the game, is health. Dallas is now the healthiest team in the NFC. Rams just lost a safety and a linebacker, or the kicker. Saints lost a safety linebacker. Eagles have a million injuries. Vikings running back, quarterback. Dallas has everybody back. Now, Ty Smith, the left tackle, is questionable for Sunday, but Dallas has unity. They have health. They got their star running back. Seattle can't run the football. To me, Dallas is in a really, really good spot. And they face two teams in Seattle and Philly that have some major injury problems.
Let me tell you how bad things are in Seattle. Hushmanzada at his age would be their number 2 receiver.
Ought to be their best receiver.
Doug Baldwin.
I got to pick. Neither one of them, because ain't neither one of them going to make the playoffs. Neither one of them. I'm not afraid of either one of them because neither one of these teams will make the playoffs. The 2 wild card teams will come out of the South. Okay, I know they got to play each other and whatnot, but they're all of those teams are at least 1 game up on Dallas. So if they all split,
we'll give you that point. Now decide between these 2. If one of them backs into the playoffs,
Cowboys.
Oh, it's easy. The Cowboys are going to make the playoffs, and they're going to do well. They're going
to make the playoffs?
They're going to stomp Seattle out. Russell Wilson is Seattle's leading rusher. That's a problem. That's a problem.
By the way, all they need is Detroit to lose to Cincy.
Ezekiel Elliott made a cardinal mistake the other day.
What's that?
He told Eric Dickerson he was going to run for 200 yards on Seattle. Watch what happens.
He might not do that, but he's going to run for over 100.
Watch what happens.
Seattle is they have a lot of problems.
Old Legion of Boom.
Man, let me tell you something. They're still, they might not be what they were, but one thing they do have is they still got some pride. And for a guy to come out and put some bulletin board material out there talking about he gonna run for 200 yards.
Got pride?
Okay,
that doesn't matter. I always hated when bulletin board material. You're gonna play hard regardless. Oh, you said you're gonna guaranteed to win. That's gonna make you play harder. You're gonna play hard regardless.
There's nothing like making somebody eat crow though. I wish somebody back in our day would have came out talking about, oh, we gonna run for 200 yards against you. You gonna get your leg broke. That's what's gonna happen.
Seattle gonna get stomped out this game.
I agree with you too, Jacob.
Welcome back. Seth Joyner's back now, joined by the founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's move to Philadelphia. Eagles' Super Bowl hopes appear to be crushed when Carson Wentz got hurt. But you know what? Nick Foles' 4-touchdown performance last week kind of gives everybody hope in Philadelphia. They can lock up home field with a win over struggling Oakland Monday night. They should take care of business. Whitlock, when you look at the Eagles, do you still think they're a Super Bowl threat with Nick Foles right there under center?
I said it at the time. I think Nick Foles is a wonderful backup quarterback.
Yeah.
I really didn't see the Eagles missing a beat. Are they as good as they were at quarterback? No. Are they good enough at quarterback? Absolutely. When we go back and look at when Nick Foles struggled, who was his head coach?
Jeff Fisher.
There you go. Who was Jared Goff's coach when he struggled? And so the guy performed well under Chip Kelly. He's going to do it again under Doug Peterson.
I think actually you're right. This is a really unique year. The Rams are good, but their quarterback's a baby. And the Saints are good, but they just lost their safety and their top linebacker. And by the way, that's a kind of young team outside of Drew Brees. Minnesota's using a backup quarterback. Dallas has Dak. It's a unique year where all the top seeds have major issues. Rams just lost the league's leading scorer. So I just think this is a year, Green Bay's out. Seattle looks like they're out, derailed by injuries. If you're going to win with Nick Foles, this is the year. Everybody's got an issue now. The Rams lost their kicker.
Why not St. Nick?
Come on, guys. We saw Nick Foles a few years ago. Remember this? Chip Kelly's the head coach. They host a playoff game against the New Orleans Saints. What happened? Nick Foles, deer in the headlights. They lose at home. I can see that totally happening again. Seth, I think we've talked about this off camera. There was a lot of questions about their head coach last year, Doug Peterson, okay? I don't know that I trust him in a big spot. We got Nick Foles as an issue, the head coach questionable, and then let's not forget the defense. Last 2 weeks, 6.8 yards per play to the Rams. Last week against Eli, one of the worst offenses in the league, 6.2 yards per play allowed. Giants moved the ball up and down
They
the
did.
field in the first half.
They did.
They scored, what, 29 points? I mean, come on, listen. This Eagles team is not going to the Super Bowl. Sorry.
This Eagles defense is ranked number 4 in the NFL, okay? Have they had some problems? Absolutely. I cover them, so I know a lot about what's going on with them. Ronald Darby gets hurt early in the year. They have to bring in a lot of cornerbacks, to kind of stem the tide there. They lose Jordan Hicks, who is their starting middle linebacker in there, and they're the major play caller. This team has endured a bevy of injuries, and they've seemed to overcome them all along the way. You lose a Pro Bowl and probably Hall of Fame left tackle. You lose your starting middle linebacker. You lose, Darren Sproles, who's your punt returner, your third down back. The list just goes on and on. Then you turn around and you lose your quarterback. And this team just keeps playing. They just keep winning. They got that next man up mentality. Now, when I look at Nick Foles is in a unique position because this offense is different from this standpoint that there are no go-to guys on this offense. All the running backs get on average maybe, the highest number of carries is probably like 16 carries, but they rotate them every single game. So they don't even know who's going to start, who's going to get the bulk of the plays. It's a tremendous way to keep 3 running backs motivated. And then when you look at the wide receiver position, you got Alshon Jeffrey with 9 touchdowns. You got Nelson Aguilar with 8 touchdowns. You got Zach Ertz with 8 touchdowns. There's no one person that you have to take away. Now, I granted, the last 3 games on defense, they got to get it together. They got to figure it out on the defensive side of the ball.
They got a lot of
because they've had some issues. And in my opinion, I think they need to be a little more aggressive. They need to bring a little more pressure on first down, try to get teams behind the sticks.
Let me say this, though. Everything you just said makes me say Doug Peterson's had a hell of a year coaching.
Doug Peterson's about to win the Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, when you describe all that adversity and the train just keeps moving,
you know what it sounds like?
Hold on. You didn't answer the question. Super Bowl or not, Seth? A contender or no?
Listen, if they can get home field advantage, I say absolutely. I don't like them on the road.
I think what you're seeing is you're mentioning all these injuries, and I'm like, yeah. And they were blowing people out when they weren't hurt. Now they're struggling in the Giants.
And let's not forget that I know the ball's been rolling, Seth, but there's going to be a bye in that first round. And we saw with Dallas last year, absolutely steamrolling people. They get that bye, and then they run into Aaron Rodgers in the postseason. And what happened? They just fell apart. Jason Garrett was awful in the first half.
They'll have the Eagles
behind.
will have the worst quarterback in the NFC playoffs. They're not going to have
the worst.
Well, Breeze, Goff, Cam,
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum's better than Foles.
Yeah.
Case
Dak
Keenum's
Prescott's
better than Foles.
Foles.
That's the worst quarterback.
Even if Stafford gets it.
That's the worst quarterback in the NFC.
To your point, they were blowing people out before people got hurt. No, Jason Peters has been out most of the year. Jordan Hicks has been out most of the year. You've got 2 young guys that are playing on the left side of the offensive line that have had struggles throughout the year, and cornerbacks that, they didn't plan on those guys being starters. They have patchworked it all the way through this year. Doug Peterson, listen, if anybody's been more critical of Doug Peterson over the first year of his tenure, it's been me.
But you can't win the NFC with the worst quarterback.
No.
I'm not sure, though. I think
Matt
there's
Ryan.
some equality among the quarterbacks. I think even if he is the worst, it ain't by much.
You wearing a Case Keenum jersey under there, Whitlock.
One time when I come on, I want to talk about this whole quarterback thing, man, because he brings it up again. If they run the ball and he manages the game and we play good, solid defense, okay?
I got to go, sir.
Minnesota does it.
Welcome back. J-Max here. Fox NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Let's move to this Boston team, the Celtics, who lost their second straight last night, falling to the Knicks at the Garden. And Porzingis was awful, and they still lost. They exceeded expectations with the Red Hawks start, including a 16-game winning streak. The Celtics now have regressed to the mean, come back to earth, going 5-6 over their last 5-5. Whitlock, you still buying the Celtics as a real threat to the Cavs?
No, I'm not. I watched some of this last night, and no, I'm not. I do think they've regressed to who they really are. Look, you can't lose Gordon Hayward and just, continue to be a threat to the Cavaliers. No, I actually think Toronto will be the second best team in the East when all is said and done.
I really go back to, I think the Philadelphia rebuild got a name, the process. We all know it's not been that great. you can call this the plan, Danny Ainge's plan. But in the end, when I look at this is going to be a team that's going to have to rely largely on 19-year-old Jason Tatum and 21-year-old Jaylen Brown against D-Wade and LeBron and Love and Tristan and JR and Isaiah Thomas. I think we have oversold this Boston plan. They're still
assets.
the assets. I mean, I love Kyrie Irving, but since when was one guy been able to carry you past the Warriors, Cleveland? Like I don't buy him. I really don't.
My answer to this question was still. Like, I never bought them as a threat to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Look, Kyrie Irving's their best player. He's great. He's not nearly as good as LeBron James. His supporting cast isn't as good as LeBron James' supporting cast. So how's he going to beat LeBron James? You know, like you said, they're young. He's a better coach. They got a coaching advantage. But they're young. Young guys just don't win in the NBA unless you're with a LeBron or a Magic or a Kareem or somebody like that. I'm with you, Jason. The question is not can they challenge Cleveland. The question is will they even get to the conference finals or will it be Toronto?
Oh, boy. Wow, a lot of Boston Celtics haters up here.
Truth, brother, truth.
Well, let's get this out of the way first. This was their 8th game in 12 nights last night, so that's understandable. They have a brutal schedule. I believe the Boston Herald, one of the Boston papers, looked at the schedule and they said Boston had the toughest schedule.
That was the
60
Knicks
games.
Last night with Porzingis
I
going
understand.
0-for-11.
That's the same team that beat the Thunder a week ago. Okay, so the Knicks get lucky every now and then. But let's not write off Brad Stevens, as you said. Okay, Brad Stevens, Kyrie Irving, one of the best point guards who's battle-tested in the postseason thanks to LeBron. I think they got a shot. I'll say it's a toss-up. I know none of you guys agree, and that's fine because we have healthy, fun discussions.
Listen, I think we like Brad Stevens, and I think we like Danny Ainge, and I think there's people that like Kyrie because stuck it to LeBron. But the reality is, man, they got no bench, and they got a bunch of kids. That team's not going anywhere.
Season the streaks, though. We'll see if they can get another one. All right, to Houston, where the Rockets have jumped out to the NBA's best record, a half game ahead of Golden State, which has got to have General Manager Daryl Morey excited considering the very candid admission he made yesterday.
I think I'm not supposed to say that, but I mean, we're basically obsessed with how do we beat the Warriors.
Cowherd, is this obsession the right mindset?
Yeah, I mean, who wasn't Michael Jordan obsessed with beating the Pistons? Obsessed people win. Mark Zuckerberg was obsessed with Facebook. And this is why we sent rockets to space, because the Russians did it first, and we were obsessed by beating Russia. Obsessed people win. All the greats were chasing somebody. I have no problem with it at all.
There are I like the mindset, but there are some that would say, perfect yourself. You know, worry about you. And the Houston Rockets and Mike D'Antoni and James Harden, these as a group and individually have had some problems in the postseason, and so they should be looking inward rather than outward. Perfect the Houston Rockets, and that will take care of Golden State. But I kind of agree. I think it's the right idea.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I mean, you said Jordan, Isaiah Thomas before him was obsessed with the Celtics in 2013 after San Antonio blew that championship against Miami. That whole year, they were absolutely obsessed. They didn't just want to win in 2014. They wanted the Heat to be there. Mm-hmm. They were obsessed with them. If you're not obsessed with somebody, then you think you've done something when you really haven't. Right. You think so. D'Antoni, I don't think he was obsessed with the Spurs when he was in Phoenix. He should have been. Maybe they would have gotten the championship. Doc Rivers, maybe the last few years, should have been obsessed with Golden State. Maybe the Clippers would have been better.
In full agreement. I love being obsessed. Steve Jobs, right? He was obsessed at Apple with making the most simplistic computer down to the design, the packaging of the boxes. It worked well, obviously, and this works in sports, right? Weren't the Red Sox obsessed with beating the Yankees? They'd 100 years of futility, finally break through, and they win 3 World Series rings. I think this is the only mentality to have, being obsessed and making it your life.
Too. Oh, for one, the Pittsburgh Steelers were obsessed with the Patriots, and they still figured out a way to blow.
If they were obsessed with the Patriots, though, they would mimic some of their details, and they don't. In fact, I would argue that they're stubborn.
I got you on a tangent now.
If Pittsburgh was more obsessed with New England, they'd duplicate more of what they do.